Hey guys, Wet Movie 1 back here again with another Blu-ray DVD update. It's been about 3 weeks since my last one. I got a nice size stack of stuff here to show you. The first couple up are from Sony, and the first one is The Evil Dead, the reboot, the Blu-ray digital copy combo pack here with a slipcase. You guys all know that me and Andrew reviewed this movie when it came to theaters the week it came out. A lot of you guys thought I didn't like the film, just because I said I liked the original more. I did like the film. It's fun. It has all this really cool gore in it. And it is one of the best horror remakes or reboots out there. You know what I mean? Because I can't really think of any other remake or reboot that's better than this. You know what I mean? The Friday the 13th reboot. You know, Nightmare on Elm Street reboot. But Evil Dead reboot, I have to give it to them. They did a very good job on this one. And the picture quality is amazing. You get a nice handful of special features on this right here. A lot of behind-the-scenes footage. You get to see that Bruce Campbell, at first when he was approached about the idea of them remaking Evil Dead, he was like, "Oh no, man, you can't do that." You know, and then they talked about not having the Ash character in there, and then he kind of softened up and like said, "You know what? Let's do it." You know, because he's one of the executive producers, I believe, on the film. Him, Sam Raimi, the original director of the original Evil Dead, producing this film and gave the okay to make this movie. So this makes everything, you know, all the much better to know that. But you get all these cool special behind-the-scenes featurettes on here, with like the actresses getting all bloody and dirtied, you know, and like playing in the mud and how they shot the film. You guys all know what the movie's about. Pretty much, a handful of like, 20-somethings go into the woods. One of them has a problem. They come across this book. They read from the book, and hell breaks loose. You know, that's pretty much the film. I'm sure everyone that's watching this video right now has seen this film. This is an awesome Blu-ray here. Just rest assured, guys, a lot of really cool special features on here. You get a commentary with the cast and filmmakers. It's just an amazing transfer and a really fun movie. Please don't get me wrong, I liked it, but I still do love the original ones a bit more, just from the just for the campiness factor, and that's the one. Those are the ones I grew up with. I appreciate this one, but I do love the older ones a bit more. Is Dead Man Down. This one stars Colin, Farrell, Terrence Howard. In this movie, Colin Farrell is like a lower level hitman. He works for this like mob boss played by Terrence Howard. And he pretty much just goes around doing what Terrence Howard tells him to do, because Terrence Howard's getting all these pictures sent to him with pictures of him with his eyes all crossed out and cut out, like there's someone out there trying to get him. But yet this movie's also like a romantic, a little romantic thriller, because Colin Farrell, when he's not on the job, being like a lower level hitman going out there killing people, he's just at home chilling. And then one night he's outside of his balcony and he sees across the way there's this one girl, and they start this relationship up with each other. She has a dark past, he has a dark past, and it all kind of comes for a full circle at the end of the film. I found it to be really enjoyable. One of those ones you would definitely want to pick up like at Redbox or your local video store to rent and see if you like it. I really do like Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard's a really strong actor in my opinion. If you guys see this one out there, definitely give it a chance. It's a total rental. And next up here from Warner Brothers is Stallone and Bullet to the Head. I didn't know what to expect from this film because I didn't get a chance to see it in the theater. I'm a big Stallone fan, from the Rocky movies and Rambo movies and all that. And I didn't know what to expect from this. I know it was like a revenge film. That's how it was always kind of advertised. It's pretty much him. He plays a hitman, and he's just going around doing what he does, killing people. He has his partner. He's going into this hotel to whack this one guy. But yet, Stallone has this thing. He doesn't kill women or children. And when he's in there whacking this one guy, there's this hooker that's in the shower. And he goes in there and pretends like he shot her. So his partner thinks that he shot her, but he didn't. And later on, a little bit later on, the hooker goes to the police and tells what happened and who she kind of saw. And it's pretty much the cops trying to come after him, and he kind of strikes a relationship up with this one cop, and it's like this back and forth between the two while they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of a confusing film. It wasn't very It wasn't what I expected it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot more action-packed, a lot, I don't know, it's like a really cool revenge film. And it just, you know, it just felt like the writing was really sloppy. It just felt like it was really rushed along. I don't know, for some reason, I just couldn't get into it. I really, really wanted to. But this Blu-ray here, you get a little one feature on here of behind the scenes. But if you guys are big Stallone fans, I recommend renting this one to see if you guys like it first before you go out and purchase it. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like it very much. But if you're, but I do love Stallone. That's the thing. That's the first time in a while I watched a movie from him, and I was just like, huh. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of expect more from Stallone these days, you know? But next up here is 42. This is the 42, the Jackie Robinson story. You guys all know Jackie Robinson, the baseball player. He's the first African-American player to play in the big leagues, and it follows him through all the segregation that he has to, you know, put up with being the only black guy, you know, on the Dodgers, and just how some of the players don't want to really be on the team with the black guy, and how, you know, this is back when there was white and black bathrooms. Me and Andrew did a full review of this film on my YouTube page here. If you look it up, you'll see like the full review of what we thought about it. You know, I really did dig it because I like movies from this time period and just learning more about it. And you get some really cool special features on here with interviews with people that knew Jackie Robinson from back in that day that are still around. You get some making of behind the scenes featurettes on Harrison Ford and how he had to put like a prosthetic nose and, you know, prosthetic chin to make him look like Branch Rickey, the guy that, you know, integrated baseball. It's a really, really fun, good movie. I really did enjoy this one. If you guys get a chance, I really recommend picking this one up. Alright guys, next up from Synapse Films is Street Trash, the Meltdown Edition. This is the first time this film has been released on Blu-ray. Kind of excited about it because I remember renting this movie on VHS when I was a kid and thinking I was watching a trauma film. You know, from the way the crazy effects are in this film with the people melting and all this and the weird acting that goes on. I thought I was watching a trauma film back in the day. But when I got older, I come to find out that it's not a trauma film, and it's filmed a lot better than a trauma film. If you guys have never seen Street Trash before, it's pretty much about these bums, and these bums that have a leader, and they're like taking over this town, sort of. You know, they're kind of like bums runneth over. And this one liquor store owner, he finds this one crate of alcohol called what's it called, Viper, that's in the back room, in a storage room, that he's never seen before. He's like, what is this? I gotta get rid of this. And he sells it to the bums for like $1. That, you know, the bums find dollars on the street and they come in and, you know, buy this, you know, weird booze from him. And when they drink it, they die and melt in these weird, creepy, like, you know, gooey, ooey, gooey, gory ways. And, you know, it's just a really cool film. I love the atmosphere of this film, them shooting in a junkyard, and what bums do to survive. On this Blu-ray here, you get a bunch of special features. I believe all the special features that you guys have gotten on the previous DVD release of the film that Synapse put out that I've had for years now. Like, you know, the feature-length documentary on the making of the film. This Blu-ray here also has Blu-ray exclusives. You get a Blu-ray exclusive interview on here, and deleted scenes that you guys have never seen before, and just a bunch of cool stuff like trailers and promos, and it's the first time this film has been digitally remastered from the original camera negatives, so this film just looks pristine on Blu-ray, or, you know, like the best I think this movie's ever really gonna look. So if you guys are a fan of the movie and you guys are wondering about the transfer on Street Trash, I give it to okay. I say go get it. It's an amazing transfer. A really fun, goofy, over-the-top, gory film. I love it. I'm sure you guys all will too. Street Trash on Blu-ray, the Meltdown Edition. Okay guys, next up from Millennium Entertainment is Mindless Behavior, the band's rise to stardom. This is a documentary about how, you know, Rock, Ray Ray, and Prodigy have formed this one group called Mindless Behavior, and how it all started with them, you know, auditioning to become part of this boy band that these different producers and choreographers were putting together. Like one of the people that put this band together was one of the choreographers on You Got Served, you know, the dance film, and it just shows, you know, what they had to do to get where they're at today. And I found it to be really kind of enjoyable, you know what I mean? Because it cut between like interviews with the with the boys and their families, telling them, like talking about their stories, and it cuts in and out from that to like live concert footage. Which their music is pretty damn cool, to be honest with you. And it also shows them winning an award on the BET, one of the BET award shows. I don't know, I found their music to be really, really cool, so I wanted to check this Blu-ray out, because I always like concert films on Blu-ray. I always think they look really kind of cool. And I think these guys are really, really fun. You know what I mean? Like they do really good dance moves, and if you guys know anything about Mindless Behavior, and or if you want to know more about them, check this Blu-ray out. It's a cool, documentary concert film. Alright guys, next up from Image Entertainment is Peggy Sue Got Married on Blu-ray. This is one of my favorite films when I was in high school. I remember watching this one all the time on VHS. Bought it when the DVD came out. I was like all excited about it, and now it's on Blu-ray high definition. I was just so happy. And this one stars Catherine Turner and Nicolas Cage, Helen Hunt, and Jim Carrey. You get an all-star cast in this one. If you guys have never seen the film before, it's pretty much about this girl named Peggy. She's middle-aged. She's having problems with her husband. She's going through a divorce with him, and her husband's played by Nicolas Cage. But yet her 25th high school reunion's coming up, and she's going to it, and she doesn't really want to go and explain why she divorced her her high school sweetheart to all her friends that are going to be there. She ends up going there. She's partying with her friends, and she gets nominated to be like the queen of the reunion. And she goes up on stage and she passes out, and then when she wakes up, she's back in the 60s again, when she was in high school, and she's reliving her high school days. And maybe if she, but she's still the way she is now, and she knows what happened before, but she's back in the 60s. She gets to see her parents again. She gets to see her little sister again as their kids, and all her friends back in high school. And she's pretty much seeing what happens if she, didn't marry Nicolas Cage's character, if she actually went for the other guy that she liked at school. It's one of those kind of things, like what would happen if you were able to go, if you were able to go back in time and just like maybe do something a little different, and see how it would affect your future. It's one of those kind of films. I always really love this movie. Nicolas Cage in this movie is really crazy the way he does his character. He sounds like when he's talking in this movie, it sounds like he's going like this as he's talking. Like that's his character. Like he has that little thing going on. But if you guys have never seen this movie, I highly recommend it. There is no special features on this Blu-ray, but the transfer I would give about an 8 out of 10 for the transfer quality on this. Definitely worth an upgrade to Blu-ray if you're a fan of the film. But that's Peggy Sue Got Married. Alright guys, next up is the Dick Van Dyke Show Season 4 on Blu-ray. Love this show. I used to watch it all the time in like the mid-90s when it was on Nick at Night, because I wasn't alive in the 60s when the show aired. But I always remember watching it during that time in the mid-90s because I love Dick Van Dyke. I always liked him from like Mary Poppins and one of my other favorite movies, Bye Bye Birdie. I always like it when like Dick Van Dyke gets all goofy and like he sings and dances in that cool different the ways that he did in like Mary Poppins and all that. I always liked him from that, and I always think he's always really funny. But this is Season 4 now on Blu-ray. If you guys have ever gotten this show on DVD, you get all the original special features that you got on those DVDs on the Blu-ray sets here. Mary Tyler Moore's appearance on the Danny Thomas Show, and TV's tribute to Carl Reiner with Dick Van Dyke, and some of the other cast members on there, like a little tribute thing. So you get 2 little extra bonus Blu-ray exclusive features on here. All the episodes are digitally remastered from their 35mm film elements, so you get like the most pristine picture you've ever seen of the show. Of course, it's still cropped, in that 4:3 aspect ratio, because that's the way it was shot back in the day. So you get those black bars on the side, but the picture is really amazing, and it's just one of those classic shows that I don't know how anybody can hate it. You know what I mean? I always just loved it. It's just one of those ones that you can't help not laugh, because it's just that funny. And this is where Mary Tyler Moore got her start. She started in the Dick Van Dyke Show, and then after the Dick Van Dyke Show, she went on to her own show, the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Like, you saw her evolution of like her learning kind of comedy from like Dick Van Dyke and Carl Reiner, the creator and writer of this show. And you know, you can see like the evolution of her. I just really love Mary Tyler Moore too. That show, her show is really amazing. But on this set here, you get all 32 episodes of season 4, all on 3 separate Blu-ray discs here. It's an amazing show. Check it out if you guys have never seen it before. And next up over here is The Twilight Zone, the complete 3rd season on DVD. You get 5 discs in this set here. It's one of those shows I remember watching with my mom and dad, like, I think back like elementary school, maybe a little bit after that. Because I remember, I think my dad had like a bookcase full of like different VHS, you know, volumes of this show when they just had like 1 or 2 random episodes on a VHS tape. I remember my dad like having a big old bookshelf full of them. I just like revisiting the show because it brings back memories when I was younger, watching it with my mom and dad. And there's one episode. There's a lot of good episodes in this season. And in every season of The Twilight Zone, there's always some really good ones, some really like poor ones. Like, what was that? You know what I mean? But there's one that really stands out to me in this season from the ones I've watched so far. I think I watched 2 of the 5 DVDs so far in this one. But the one I like the most is called The Game of Pool, with like Jonathan Winters, and I forgot the other guy's name. It's just 2 guys in a pool hall playing pool. But one guy owns this pool hall. He's kind of like all mad because he wants to be the best pool player in the world. But the very best pool player in the world died years ago. His name's like Fats or something. And he's like always staring at his picture going, only if I can play you. I will do anything in the world to play you in one game just to show you I'm the best and tell everybody that I'm the best pool player ever. You know, like, I'll give anything. And then, you know, Jonathan Winters' character, Fats, the guy that died years ago, comes back as a ghost and plays this guy in pool. You know, but he, you know, they bet each other something, and you have to watch what they bet. And it's just really cool how that episode really turns out. I'm a fan of these kind of like anthology, you know, kind of shows. I have the 2000 version of The Twilight Zone and the 80s version of The Twilight Zone. I know they're on Blu-ray, but I just wanted to revisit these again. But if you guys see this out there, it's a fun show. Like I said, some episodes are better than others, but there's more good than there is bad, you know? Alright guys, next up from E1 is Todd in the Book of Pure Evil Season 1, boop, and Season 2 on DVD. I just recently got into watching this show just because Jason Mewes is in it. That was the first thing that got me going, what is that show? I want to see it. And it's pretty much about this guy named Todd. He's kind of like a loner. He only has like just one friend. And he wants to start a band with his friend. They kind of like rock out. And one day he comes across this one book and it possesses him. And then the book keeps escaping him. Like it runs off and stuff. It gets all weird and crazy. And it's pretty much him trying to get that book back before it causes any more mischief. And each episode, more and more crazy things start happening. Jason Mewes is in there playing the janitor where he goes to and asks for advice. It's just really cool, over the top. You get really cool gore effects in there. There's also a girl in there that he really likes at school that he wants to go out with, but you know, she's trying to find out what happened to her father, and all she has is this picture, and the picture that she has is of the Book of Pure Evil, and she's only, you know, pretty much being friends with him and hanging out with him because, you know, the last time she saw that book is in Todd's hands. And each episode is them trying to figure out where that book is, and it's just really a fun, crazy, over-the-top, you know, show. And in Season 2 is just a continuation of that. I believe I think they might be making like a cartoon movie of this, because after Season 2 the show got canceled. And I've never seen it when it was on FearNet. If you guys get a chance, totally check it out. I'm sure a lot of you guys that watch my videos will love it. But that's Todd in the Book of Pure Evil Season 1 and 2. And next up from Kino is Black Sabbath on Blu-ray, starring Boris Karloff as like the guy that introduces the segments. The beginning story I think called The Call or whatever, about this one girl that's in her apartment building and her phone keeps ringing. Kind of like the beginning of the Scream movie, where like, what is your favorite scary movie? You know, kind of a thing, but for the 70s. And she's in there, she's like, you know, the phone rings, she picks it up, I'm gonna kill you. you know, kind of a thing. And she starts getting more weirded out and freaked out, and all this crazy stuff starts happening. You can't really explain it anymore because it's a short film. And the second one, it's really hard to explain the second short film in here. It's kind of like, you know, some really cool images, but it's still kind of like, I don't understand. But the third one, about a doctor or something that goes on, you know, house calls, goes to this one lady's house that recently passed away, and she's still dead in her bed or something. It's really hard to explain because there's a subtitle and I might have lost some stuff in translation. But like the weird crazy effects that happen with a lady that's dead on a bed and her eyes are open, her teeth are like, and she's like, you know, trying to like change her into the clothes that they're gonna bury her in. Yet she died because she was doing something to do with the devil or demons or something. And it's a fun anthology one. If the middle one wasn't as bad as it was, I would have totally recommended this one. But if you guys are fans of Mario Bava, because this is part of the Mario Bava collection, I'm sure you guys will dig it. But the first and last story in here are my my favorite ones in this. Picture quality is pretty damn good. It's a pretty good transfer, a pretty fun movie, because I don't really watch a lot of Italian horror films, so like I can't really like gauge it on other ones I've seen, because I haven't really seen many at all. But I dug it for what it was, you know, being a cool little anthology film with Boris Karloff being like the Crypt Keeper kind of a character in this. It's Black Sabbath on Blu-ray. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. Alright guys, next up is Boy on Blu-ray. It's pretty much about this young boy named Boy, or pretty much everyone in the movie calls him that. And it takes place in 1984. He lives on this island with his grandma and his sisters and brothers. In the beginning of this film, his grandma's like going off to go visit somebody. So he's left there to take care of his brothers and sisters and feed them. And he's really into Michael Jackson, dancing like him, wanting to be like him. His dad is nowhere to be found. His mom passed away when she was giving birth to his younger brother. He thinks, you know, his dad is like, you know, off fighting in a big war or doing something, but yet his dad's really in prison. But one day when he's taking care of his brothers and sisters, his dad comes by. He's like, what's going on here? And his dad, you know, has a couple of buddies with him. But yet you come to find out that he's escaped from prison, and he's pretty much down there trying to find something he hid for himself there when he got out of prison. I really fell in love with this film. My buddy Brian Klassen would appreciate it, since he likes Michael Jackson. There's a lot of Michael Jackson references and flashbacks and really cool things. So if you're watching this, Brian, you might dig this film. I really did love it, and you get the Academy Award nominated short film on here called Two Cars, One Night, where it's just really cool. It's pretty much three kids sitting in two separate cars. One boy's talking to a girl that's in another car, and this, you know, their interaction back and forth from each other. I really did love that little short film that's on here. I highly recommend this film if you guys see it out there. Alright guys, next up right here. This was just really beautiful to watch. It's one of those things you watch and just chill out and, you know, relax when you watch it. It's from Inception Media, and that's the Aerial America New England collection. It's pretty much, they go to like New England or different places in New England like Maine, Vermont, Rhode Island, and Connecticut, and have these beautiful HD aerial shots of these towns and cities, and like they talk about history behind, like, you know, the cities, like in Connecticut where Mark Twain went to go write his you know, famous books, and what happened in this haunted lighthouse. Like, you know, it's like history, you know, like someone's narrating the history of these towns, and it was just very beautiful to watch. Like I sat back and watched like 2 or 3 of these episodes in a row, just kind of like, this is awesome. And because, you know, when you see really beautiful aerial shots in beautiful HD, like, you know what I mean, like, it just looks really nice. Like, sometimes I wasn't really paying attention to what the people were, you know, narrating about, but sometimes I did. But I was just pretty much looking at it, like how beautiful it looked, you know, on Blu-ray. I really did thought that was a beautiful put together Blu-ray. And last up here from Lionsgate is Why We Laugh, Funny Women. You get Joan Rivers, Whoopi Goldberg, Lily Tomlin, Alicia Tyler, Catherine and the Jimmy, and a bunch of other stand-up comics, women, just talking about their experiences about being women in the stand-up comedy world. and how it's a little bit harder for them to, get out there and do their things because people always, want men to be out there doing, what I mean? They talk about different experiences they had being on the road. One of them says, like, if someone's having like a comedy class, you can't really learn comedy. You know what I mean? You're either born with it or you don't. You know what I mean? You can't just learn how to be. You can't learn how to be funny. You're either really funny or you're just yourself. But I found this to be really entertaining. It's one of those things. If you guys are really into stand-up comedy, you'll dig it. But if you're not like a big super stand-up comedy fan like myself, you probably won't. But I really did enjoy this one. But that's Why We Laugh, Funny Women on DVD. Alright guys, that's all I really have to show you guys today. Thank you guys all for coming by. Please make sure you guys thumbs up this video. I'll see you guys all next time. Thanks for watching, everyone.